today is to come and equip our foot soldiers. Hello? The purpose why we're here today is to come and equip our directors and our councilors who are running clubs. Do you understand what I'm saying? Today's training is not an investiture training. Today's training is an equipping training. We want you, when you live here, you have got all the information you need to run your club. So, I need you when you are here to take as much notes as possible. I need you when you are here to ask as many questions as possible. Because when you're now out there with your club, we won't be there. Are we together? Thank you very much. Our speaker this morning, coming to talk about the philosophy of Adventist education. He's an educator by calling, a teacher by profession. He is at the moment currently at Seraven High School. His name is Dr. Dry Mupoperi. He's going to come this morning and bless us with his presentation on the philosophy of Adventist education. Doctor, the floor is yours. Thank you very much.
Good morning, church.
Amen.
How are you today? Fine. Thank you, Pastor. I'm glad the pastor is here today, and I'm glad that the pastor called for this meeting, an important meeting. Don't worry about my other titles. My first name is Dry, Dry. That's my first name, Dry. If you just call me Dry, it's fine. Somebody in the roundabout once said, "Can I get a bucket of water and pour you? And just do an experiment and see what you're going to do." I said to him, "I will remain dry." Thank you, Pastor, for inviting us to this meeting. It's a special privilege to be among God's people and to speak about God. It's restful to be with God on a Sabbath like this, because there are a lot of things that are happening outside there. So it's safer this side. I want to thank our first speaker, or presenter, for emphasizing the idea that we are not here by accident, but we are here by God's design. We are not here by accident, but God's design. So it's very important and key. I am an Adventist educator, or I am an Adventist educator who is waiting for the second coming of Christ. How I was invited by God into this ministry is a miracle. To me, it will remain a miracle. My parents were just peasant farmers. How many minutes do I have to say? 20 minutes. So I won't say much then. Oh. 20 minutes, all right. All right. When I was in grade 5, our area where I was staying was a war zone. So my parents decided to send me to a mission station that was 450 kilometers from home, to say, go and grow there. At that mission station, I got baptized. At that mission station, I was a pathfinder. So I remember when I was going home the other time, my sister invited me to a church of years and said, "Come and worship with us." Then I went there with my Bible. They asked me to sing a song. I sang, "We have wandered far away from God." And you know what the pastor did at the end? He called me and gave me a Bible. He gave me a Bible, this one. It was long back, that's why it's like this, in this state. I've been reading it. Amplified New Testament. I cherish this one. I was still a pathfinder. I cherish this one. So when I was moving in Joburg the other day, I said, let me get also the other version. This one. It's now the New Testament and the Old Testament combined. It was because of this one that I was reading. It was helpful to me. So Christ says to us, I love to demonstrate. Every Christian, every follower of Christ, he says to us, you are a chain that God has let down from heaven to save the world. And you are a link. There's a chain that is lowered down by heaven to save the world, of which you are a link. So as an adventurer leader, as a pathfinder leader, you are a link in this salvation story. You are a link. If this link is not there, you create a gap that may not be filled. So may God bless us as we work in His vineyard. Thank God you have allowed yourself to be an extension of Christ's ministry. It's very important indeed. I was tasked to talk briefly about the philosophy of Christian education. I am an advocate of Christian education from the background that I have given and throughout. Philosophy, last time I checked the word philosophy. Philosophy is the set of ideals or standards or beliefs that are used to describe our behavior. The set of ideals, beliefs, standards that are used to describe our behavior. I'm done with that one. Let me give an example. There are two ways of bathing a baby in Canada and in Japan, two different ways. They bath a baby differently in Canada and Japan. In Canada, they do what is called sponge bathing. Sponge bathing. You go and Google and find out. That's their way of doing things there in that society. In Japan, they do what is called swaddle bathing. When you do swaddle bathing, you wrap a child with a thin blanket. Then you dip that child slowly into warm water until the child is dipped completely in water. And they call it a what? A relaxing and bonding experience. It's a relaxing and bonding experience. Huh? I see the pastor is holding his kid here, his child. It's a bonding experience. And they say because of that, only 38% of children cry during bathing. Only 38% during that bonding process. It's a bonding process. I've been working with young people ever since. Doing health and temperance ever since. Doing pathfinding ever since I left school. And when I went to college, it was a secular college, to train. I was singing in several groups. And the principal there used to like Adventist music. Used to invite us every Friday to say, today we want Adventist. Next Sabbath it might be the Roman Catholic, the other Sabbath the other group. But when it was us presenting, your people could gather earlier to listen to us sing. It was so nice. It was so nice. I will show you the pictures if time permits, but the pastor is saying 20 minutes. Now, the word Adventist, I'm sure it's familiar. We are waiting for the second coming of Christ. And it will be very soon. For your information, it will be very soon. Sooner than yesterday. Sooner than sooner than what you anticipate. Then there's the word education. The word education. What is true education? Somebody said education is hands-on. Hands-on. And somebody said education is sharing of experiences. If you're in education, you share experiences. That's why we're here. If you're in education, you share knowledge. And somebody also said education is sharing of knowledge, or teaching others knowledge, or receiving knowledge from others. You see, if you read let me just say triple three. 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 2. 3. 2 Timothy 2. 2 Timothy 2.
Verse 2.
Verse 2. Is that 3? Let's try again. 2 Timothy
Chapter 2, verse 2.
Someone to read for us. I have 20 minutes only. I have 20 minutes only. Hey. I need to give also handouts. Hey, Pastor. So that people can... I wrote notes for you.
Okay.
Yeah. You can just write here on this. I'm not sure. I wrote notes for you. This is a marathon, Pastor. I need 2 hours. Second Timothy chapter 2, verse 2. Someone to read.
And the things that thou hast heard of me among witnesses, the same commit thou to faithful men, who shall be able to teach others also.
We shall be able to teach others also. The things that I have shown to you. It means the great Christian truths were never meant to be carelessly handled. Are you getting me? They were never meant to be carelessly handled. God or Jesus Christ assigned reliable people like you, willing people, zealous to make things happen for God. If you are zealous to make things happen for God, miracles will happen. Zealous to make things happen. I like what this author said. He said, the great man is he who does not lose his child's heart. A great man is he who does not lose his child's heart. Train up a child is not easy, especially these days. Some writers have actually said it is now a lost art. It is now a lost art because of moral decadence. Some a lost art. But the Bible is still saying it is still valid to train up a child according to Proverbs. Is it Proverbs 6 verse 22 or 22 verse 6? Which is which? Train up a child in the way. So that statement is still valid. It's a profound statement that is still valid. You should train up a child in the way he should go. When he is old, he won't depart. In other words, what we are saying is childhood tendencies will forecast the child's adulthood. What we are doing to your kids now will affect them in future. So you are not just here to warm the chairs. You are here to be equipped for service. Having said that, we are living in an increasingly uncaring world, troubled world. If I look at a child, come here, my boy, come. If I look at a child, we are living in an environment that is uncaring, increasingly. If I look at a child, I see a sheep looking for a shepherd. Didn't hear me?
Yes.
I see a sheep looking for a what? A shepherd. And a shepherd is a caretaker. A caretaker. Someone who is considerate. someone who is concerned, someone who knows the weaknesses of humanity. And that person is here today, the counselor. And that person is here today, the director. Thank you, ICOM, for giving me this privilege to speak about the philosophy of Adventist education. We need to reclaim the future of Adventist education, to reclaim. If it has been lost, let's reclaim it. What normally our young people want, it might not be so much of our criticism or condemnation. What they want most is reassurance and encouragement and our love. Tell them you can do it. You can, I know you can do it. You can do it. So our task, our first task, write it down. Our first task as counselors and directors is to promote and protect, double P, to protect and to promote the philosophy of Adventist education. And what is the philosophy of Adventist education? I've told you of how they birth a child in Japan, how they birth a child in Canada. They have got two different worldview, how they see differently. We also as a church, we see things differently. When we educate, true education is, let me quote Ellen White, our greatest philosopher. The philosopher of Adventist education is Ellen White. Let me quote here. She says, Adventist education is a holistic, a harmonious and holistic what? Kind of education, holistic. It means you teach the whole person. The whole person. All aspects. Think of the head. By the way, Pastor, my 20 minutes is up. By the way, I teach mathematics. I don't just teach. I also teach to renew the mind. Amen. I don't just teach. I teach to transform. Transformational what? Education. That is why we are here. This information of head to head is not good enough. We want an education that is heart to heart. Heart to heart. When you approach I have a tendency of, I learned that at Nyazura Mission where I got my education at an early age. Before the teachers began with us, we could pray. At the end of the lesson, we could pray. Every lesson. I said, hey. At that time, I couldn't understand why you were doing that. Now I understand. Most of my classmates are no more. I know one who had a doctorate in economics, who is still alive, who was our head boy. I can just pick one. The other one is in UK doing this, the other one is that, the other one. But most of them are dead by now. Wouldn't believe in this Adventist education. Let's believe in this Adventist education. It's key. So our first task is to promote and protect. Now, how do you protect the Adventist education? You need to assume certain roles. If you are with your club, you are a pastor. If you are with your club, you are a pastor. You are a priest. You are a professional. 5 P's. You are a parent. Did I leave out something? With your club, you are a parent. A professional, what does a professional person do? The professional person is dependable. Even if the pastor is not there, even if the YCOM is not there, you operate as normal. You do your work with minimum supervision or without supervision. You are professional, you are dependable. You desire to see other people grow. You communicate effectively. You are punctual. You help others. It's about others, it's not about me. It's about others. It's not about the counselor. It's not about the director. It's about others. Now, a pastor, you should know your scripture. Ability also to listen. These young people have so many concerns. They have so many concerns. Ability to listen. Get what they are saying. Answer all their questions. It's not a crime to say, I don't know this one, let me go and research. It's not a crime. If you don't know anything, you say, let me go and research, I don't know this one. That's being professional. You are a priest. Strong prayer life. Strong prayer life. You are a parent, provision. You provide. Can you imagine in terms of provision? Where is my rope, Pastor? My rope is here. Can you? I can't manage this thing. Ecclesiastes 4 verse 12 says. Ecclesiastes 4 verse 12 says. Think of a child. A strong Adventist background, with a child with a strong Adventist background. Going to an Adventist church, going to an Adventist school. Ecclesiastes 4 verse 12 says, this threefold cord is not easily broken. This threefold cord is not easily broken. It's strong. Because what you teach at home is reinforced at church. What you teach at church is reinforced at school. You're done. That threefold cord cannot easily be broken. Ecclesiastes 4 verse 12. I watched. I'm coming to my topic now. I watched in one country. I watched the construction of a 3-story building. The construction of a 3-story building. It was not standing upright. From afar, you could see, something is wrong. It's risky to be next to that building. It was risky because of the faulty foundation. It was a faulty foundation that was put on that building. And the building inspectors, they had condemned the building. You know what they did? They put a red stop work sign next to the building. Stop work. You are not going anywhere. Stop work here. And ultimately, they had to remove the whole structure and build another one that satisfied the building codes. They had to demolish everything. So foundations are very important in any building foundation, any building project. A foundation is very important. If you catch them young, they say catch them young. Come here, young men. You are part of my lecture. They say catch them young. They say between 1 and 7 years, you have to do a thorough work there. Do a thorough work there. Amen. Otherwise, they will mess up and will forever clean up. Didn't you hear me? The rest of your life, it's difficult to panel beat a child. You can panel beat a car. You can't panel beat a child. I taught at a government school for 7 years in Soweto. 7 years at a government school. We were on day duty. We were on day duty almost every time. We'd go into the toilet. We'd go everywhere. If we don't do that, we work there as a team. If you go 1-1, you won't survive there. Yeah. I'm telling you, you need to do your maths quite well. Do your calculations quite well. Now, let me come back home. The Adventist, listen to this one. The Adventist church did not look for the oasis of identity. in the desert of history. You're not getting me here. The Adventist church did not look for an oasis of identity in the desert of history. They looked to the Prince of Teachers. There they found the integrating factor of their faith. Looking unto Jesus, the author and finisher of our faith. Very soon he's going to call all angels in the Hallelujah Square. And they will wonder, why are we here? And Jesus will say, we are here for coronation purposes. When the coronation exercise is over, you will see a very small cloud in the east. As it approaches the earth, it will be growing bigger and brighter. Jesus will be coming to take his children home. That's why the philosophy of Adventist education is Christocentric, Christ-centered. It's Christ-centered. Christocentric. Yeah, Christ-centered. Now, why is it Christocentric? Someone can ask. Because of 3 reasons. These are the components of Adventist education, 3 components. Creation, the fall, Genesis chapter 3, redemption. 3 components of what? Of Christian education. Now, where is Christ coming in here? Why is Christ coming in here? Creation, everything was perfect. The human condition at creation initially was perfect. No sin. The character was perfect. Everything perfect before sin. That was creation. But now after the fall, Genesis chapter 3, sin came in. But before creation, all the faculties were capable of developing. Now, the mental, after before, was lessened. The vision, mad. A lot of things happened after the fall. But God did not ignore Adam and Eve. A plan of redemption was what? Was brought in. Plan of redemption. Through Christ. Christ is coming in. Through Christ. He was obedient until death in order to destroy sin. He came down from heaven. He was rich up there. He came down from heaven and became poor. At one stage, he was called the Nazarene carpenter for the sake of your salvation. Christ, for the sake of our salvation. So he came to redeem this planet Earth. So without Christ, we will do nothing. Let's invite Christ every time we gather our clubs. Commit them to Christ. He's the sender, the finisher of our faith. So Christ came in to save humanity from sin. That's why Christ did. Now, when we teach our clubs, let's use Christocentric methods. How did Christ teach? Follow Christ, the master teacher. Follow Christ, the master teacher. The source of true education is found in Proverbs chapter 2, verse 6. For the Lord gives wisdom, and from his mouth come knowledge and understanding. True education is that which is imparted by him, out of those whose mouth come knowledge and understanding. We believe as a church that God exists and he is the source of all knowledge. There's a God in heaven there. If I had time, I would tell you my testimonies. There are so many. Child of God, lift up thou Savior, lift up by our Lord and Master on the cross. Christ paid the ransom, our Redeemer died to set us free. Lift up Jesus, he has promised, I will draw all men to me. Lift him up, mighty Redeemer. Wonderful. So the purpose of Adventist education is to restore in man the image of his maker. That process is being delayed by rebellion. Sorry to say that. That process is being delayed by rebellion. The restoration process. It's not an easy one. But it will be complete when Christ comes. The purpose of Christian education is to restore in man the image of his maker. Now, let's go to following Christ, the master teacher. John 13:13, Revised Standard Version. We call you teacher, the Lord. Christ Jesus was called Rabbi by Nicodemus during a night visit. Rabbi means teacher. So, Jesus was a teacher, the greatest teacher who ever lived. That's why you follow his steps. Christ is a perfect example for every Christian teacher. By the way, some might say we are not teachers. Let me give you a definition of a teacher. A teacher is an informed guide. A teacher is an informed guide whose knowledge of the subject allows him to direct learners to attain wisdom or to discern truth from error. So you are a teacher. A counselor is a teacher. A director is a teacher. A parent is a teacher. A mother is a teacher because at home, learners or our kids, they learn moral science, wrong and right. So mothers are very important in the home setting. They are teachers. They teach learners moral science, right and wrong. They should distinguish between right and wrong from that early stage. Then they are surrendered to the school and to the church. So counselors are teachers. Well, they are informed guide. We are here to be informed so that we can guide these learners. Now, he was a teacher, perfect teacher. Every Christian teacher has to follow. John 13:15. I have given you an example that you should do as I have done. That's Christ. We should follow what he has demonstrated to us about teaching. What did he demonstrate to us about teaching? Education, page 282. Directors and counselors is the highest preparation for your work. The philosopher of Adventist education, Ellen White, points to us these words: the life and the methods of the Prince of Teachers, Jesus Christ. What are some of the reasons for his success? I have 7 here. Number 1, he taught what he lived. Point number 1. If you want to succeed in your clubs, just read by example. We are done. Don't worry about pouring knowledge in their heads. They are, by the way, they are not empty vessels. These kids are not empty vessels. If I had time, I would tell you a lot of stories of parents that were corrected by what? By these kids. Let me tell you this one. Pastor, allow me.
Okay, but you can't.
Pastor, you are squeezing me. But I will tell you this one. This parent had been sending, was not an SDA, was not going to church, he didn't believe in God. He was an atheist. So he was forever sending this small one, to the adventure club. So one day, he wanted to go and steal, this parent, to steal some carrots in the neighbor's garden. So he said, let me go with my boy, so that we can harvest quite a lot. So he didn't tell the boy where they were going. He just said, let's go. So the boy just followed the father at night. So when they reached this, but he asked it, why are we in this garden? He said, don't worry. So the father looked to the left and looked to the right, looked in front, looked behind. No one was coming. So he wanted to start to uproot. And this adventurer said, no. There is one direction in which you haven't looked. The upward look is ignored by many people. The upward look. And they left everything and they went back home. The father was saved by an adventurer who knew Christ, the author and finisher of our faith. Number two, he inspired men. He attracted men to the truth and inspired them to do good. He inspired men. You know, they said, or they say, a mediocre teacher. What does a mediocre teacher do? A mediocre teacher tells. A good teacher explains. A great teacher demonstrates. A superior teacher inspires. You just inspire. Finish. You create. If curiosity is not there to do it, you create it. Don't assume what? Don't assume interest. Create it. Don't assume interest, create it. Be active. I work with young people, I'm all over the place. So that they are interested in what I teach. They can get the concept of Pythagoras. If and only if, that's the man we use it in mathematics. If and only if in geometry. If and only if you are willing, God will pour blessings and your club will be blessed. But oh sorry, time up. Right. Then this one, he studied human nature. Then his teaching method was suited to his hearers. I will give you notes. Then I have a questionnaire that I have given you. But I liked this one, but I will just give you notes. So, our Christian philosophy is Christocentric. It means we follow Christ in whatever we do. Christ should be the teacher in your club. Christ should be the teacher in my classroom at school level. Christ should be the teacher at church level, at your church. Christ is the teacher, not you, not me. So I follow Christ. Christ guides me and gives me everything. So I should be upright and I should also ask for power from above so that I do things properly. May God bless us as we continue to work in His vineyard. Can I teach you one stanza? Let's point down so that you don't sleep. Let's point down. Deeper, deeper in the love of Jesus, daily let us go. Higher, higher in the school of wisdom, more of grace to know. We end there. Let's start again. Deeper, deeper in the love of Jesus, daily let us go. Higher, higher in the school of wisdom, more of grace to know. Let me go solo now. This one here. Oh, deeper yet I pray, and higher every day, and wiser, blessed Lord, in the precious holy way.
Amen.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We've got questions. Yes, ma'am.
I think you
Mike,
we learned about the Adventist Christian, and I believe I've been having this question for a long time. I believe that as Adventists, our schools should perform very well. That's what I believe. Because we have God, we have all these principles that we teach our children in our Adventist schools. But I've got one problem. We have one school which is a high school. Every time when I check it, I want to be proud also that, my school also, I'm also an educator. So when the results come out, I also want to be proud and say, Sinaven, you see, it's also high there. But when I look at that school, their performance to me is not, I don't have anyone that is going there. But when I look at their performance, because from what I know, most of all the Adventist schools that I know, they must do well. Because I don't know, where are we lacking? If you are teaching them the principles of the Bible, I don't know, where are we lacking?
Okay.
As a church.
All right, thank you very
I'm
much.
so concerned about that.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I don't know, maybe you did that question on purpose so that I can post. We actually have 3 high schools. Bethel in the Eastern Cape. I don't remember their pass rate.
I don't know them. I know this.
Yeah, I don't remember. I wanted to say it because I knew all of them. Then we have got Helderberg High School. Helderberg High School, our matric pass rate was 100%. What does it just say? Amen. And then we've got this one around the corner, Sedaven. Sedaven, only 1% failed. Yeah, only 1% failed. We had 90% pass rate.
It was because of subject combination. He went into physics and mathematics, pure mathematics. And he refused to be guided anyway. So, yeah, I teach there. I'm actually the academic leader. So I know all the pass rates from time immemorial to date. So far we are going upwards. Because one only failed. But we are trying to guide them. Last week I was in Ferenakan doing concessions. Oh, sorry. Oh. I was doing concessions for them. To just say to them, if you are not good at this, let's try this. If you are slow, let's apply for concessions so that you are given more time. And the 6 of our matrics were granted that concession. So we are going somewhere. I want to assure you, if you give us your kids, we'll do our best through Christ.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, my leader. There's one quotation that my leader said when he was standing up from the book Education, but he didn't say that it comes from the book of Education, right? How many of you heard that quotation? Okay, how many master guides do we have here? I know you read the book Education. Stop hiding. What was that quotation?
You can't remember.
Okay, let me remind you. He said that the purpose of true education is restoring the image of Christ to the child. Okay? Because of sin, we were made in the image of God. But because of sin, that image has been distorted. So true education restores that image. Amen? Amen. I've reminded someone. So as counselors, as directors, our main goal is to restore the image of Christ in the child. Are we together? Are you listening to me? Our goal is not wearing beautiful uniforms. Our goal is not having many badges. Someone has my sash. She didn't bring it today. She was supposed to go and sew one of the honors on. She didn't bring it today. She says, no, I'll bring it at BST. If you see my stash, those who saw it when we were at East Rand, you saw it's almost covered with honors. That is not the purpose of Pathfinder. Are we together? Those are tools that we use to achieve the purpose of Pathfinder. When you see them playing the band, when you see them marching, that is not the purpose of Pathfinder. Our purpose of Pathfinder is to restore the image of Christ to our young people. Amen? Amen. But sometimes we take the tools and we make them the purpose. And that is wrong. Hello? Let us remember always what's the purpose.